My mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to thee, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Please be seated. So this is a very important day on many counts. It is not only armistice, 100 years since the armistice, but it is also a baptism day, and it is also Veterans Day. So Just Kinsey gets to be honored this morning as the most important member of our congregation because she is the newest and newly baptized. She will literally be the holiest. So watch out, Kinsey, it's coming for you. And one of the ways we honor her today is our readings feature many women. There's a chorus of women speaking to Naomi. We have Naomi, we have Ruth, and who else do we have?
The widow.
The widow, indeed. So we're going to hit on all those women real quick so you can see what tradition you're being raised in, Kinsey. All right? So this story from Ruth is just part of the story. Those of you who know it well, please forgive me while I fill in a little bit of what the story is. It's important to know that the location of this story is Bethlehem. Who's born in Bethlehem? Jesus. We are hearing the story of some of Jesus' ancestors. So he is related to this woman who has some terrible things happen to her. So the first thing that happens is she's married to this man named Obed, and she and their two sons have to leave Bethlehem because there is a famine over the whole land. And they go to the land of Moab where they're not having a famine, and there they make their home. And her sons marry women, two women. One of them is Ruth, and the other one is Orpah, I believe. Then tragedy strikes. Naomi's husband dies, and after 10 more years, her sons die also. So she has no more husband, and the sons have died, and their wives have not had children. So she has all of a sudden nothing. Everything she had that gave her worth is now gone. Excuse me. So what she decides to do is to go back to Bethlehem. She hears that the famine has passed and that she can maybe attach herself to some of her kin, and they will take care of her as a widow bereft and worthless in the economy of the day. If you can't have children to take care of you, you have no worth. So back she goes, but before she leaves, she tells her daughters-in-law to stay. I have nothing for you, she says. I have no children in my womb to give anymore, and even if I did, would you wait around for them to grow up to be marrying age? And they say, no. And so one of them leaves, but Ruth famously says, where you go, I will go. Where you go to bed, I will go to bed. Your people will be my people, and I will never, ever abandon you. So Ruth says the words of a steadfast, abiding God. Those words are to be internalized, to know that this is the kind of God we're talking about, a God who has steadfast, abiding love, that no matter what we do or where we go, our God is there ahead of us, welcoming us and making us his own. So they go back to Bethlehem, and Naomi tells Ruth to go out and glean. Gleaning is where you go and pick up the scraps of the harvest, which the Jewish people leave behind for the poorest of the poor. So Ruth just happens to wander into Boaz's field. Boaz is a kinsman of Naomi, but Ruth doesn't know this. So she is gleaning in this field with Boaz watching over this strange woman from another land who wears different clothes and does things differently, and she stands out, not just because she's a Moabite, but because she's working harder than any of the other gleaners. She never takes a break. She doesn't stop for a drink of water. She's like this little human woman machine, gathering up more grain than anybody. So he calls her to him, and he says, because of what I have noticed about you, let me give you more grain. So abundance is coming back into the family his daughter-in-law Ruth. She goes home with this huge bushel of grain, which she gleaned, and through the generosity of Boaz, she got more grain that will take care of Naomi for years. But that's not the end of the story. We have the end of the story that we heard today, that Len read. So, when Naomi finds out that Ruth got all this grain from Boaz's field, she starts plotting. What do women do? She makes a plan for Ruth to present herself as a future bride to Boaz, who is very rich, has much land, and many servants. So this is exactly what Ruth does. She follows her mother-in-law's instructions to the T. She goes down to the threshing floor. She takes the robe off of Boaz's feet. She lies down at his feet. This is a very strange custom. There's no diamond rings. You just lay at the man's feet. He wakes up and sees there's a woman there, and he says, "Will you marry me?" Yeah, it's another time. And there's more story that I won't get into, but suffice it to say that they get married. She becomes pregnant, and when the baby is born, we have this women's chorus coming in, singing to Naomi, "Here you are, the grandmother of a child that is belonging to Naomi," because legally, since that's her daughter-in-law, and since Boaz is her kinsman, that baby belongs to her. So she becomes the nursemaid, she holds the baby, and from this baby come King David and our own Lord Jesus Christ in the city of Bethlehem. So there's that. But we have one more story, and that's the widow. The widow is just like Naomi. The widow probably is one of the widows who had their house confiscated by the scribes that Jesus is criticizing. He says they devour widows' houses. So can we assume that this widow had her house taken by the temple authorities? We can, yes. So all she has left literally are these 2 little coins, which are worth a penny. And she puts them into the treasury. Now, if you all knew that the treasury is being run not judiciously, but a little corrupt, and that this money is not going to the places it should go, would you advise her to put her money in there? No, you'd say, no, don't give it to them. They're not the good people right now. Your money will not go well. But she, in her heart, is not giving the money to the scribes. Who is she giving the money to? God. God. She's giving what she has, everything. She's putting it in the basket that is the container for God, our loving, steadfast God, who befriends us and loves us and holds us in a container that we cannot get free of. And that's the container of love and sacrificial giving that she puts in, which is why Jesus notices. And the moral of this story is that Jesus notices all of our intentions also. That when we give out of the best part of who we are, when we offer the best we have to give, we are rewarded for that by this inner feeling of what? Peace, continuity, authenticity. Who we really are is being expressed in this self-giving way. We do this with friendships, with marriages, with our children. You know what sacrificial love is. So that's the end of that, and we're going to do a baptism. Amen.
Amen.